So, now we have all of our income, calculated our allowances, and deducted our expenses, we can now start the process of filing our return. I'll sign in to the self-assessment portal. It gives you a couple of options here. Since we've already registered for the government gateway, as detailed in Module 2, we pick the first option. It's important that you click Government Gateway, and not the gov.uk verify, as it may not be linked to your UTR, or national insurance number correctly. If you skip Module 2, you can also register here, but you'll have to wait until you receive your code by post, which can take up to 4 weeks if you leave it till January. I'll use example details here, but it's your 12-digit number, and your password. And the verification code I just received on my mobile. Now we're into the personal tax area. You should see your name, and your unique taxpayer reference number at the top. As this is a demo account for making this video, I've changed some details. This page lays out the different sections. You can find out any payee earnings, view any previous self-assessments, check your national insurance number, have a look at any benefits you've received, check how many payments you've made towards the state pension, and how much you're estimated to receive when you retire. Your screen might look slightly different here, if your self-assessment is due, but all you need to do is to click on Complete your tax return. I've already submitted it on this account, so I can amend it, but you shouldn't see this page. This is where you'll start off. The right-hand side menu gives you an overview of all the required sections. The first part is mostly your contact details. Then, tailor your return, which takes you through a few yes and no questions. Self-employment, all your calculations go in this section. A little bit on national insurance. Then what you've entered in the self-employment section gets calculated in here, and we can add any other relevant deductions. And finally, a couple of easy bits at the end for HMRC's records. It may seem daunting, but once you get into it, you'll find many of them don't apply to you. We can go into the first section and input some personal details. Basic things that HMRC should have on file already, but if anything's incorrect, you can update it here. Like your new email address. Or if you've recently moved house. Or moved country. Your date of birth. It asks you for marital status, but this section is optional, so you don't have to enter anything if you don't want to. The registered blind section doesn't apply to me, so I click no. And I don't have any student loans, so it's a no for the next two as well. In this section, the first part doesn't apply, so I'll pick no. However, the HMRC is a bit vague on what classifies as an agency worker. If you've worked through an agency, but have been paid directly, and you've not been classed as a payee worker, you can pick no here as well. If you've been paid through an umbrella company, and have been paid as an employee, even for a few weeks, then click on the arrow for the help section, which has a bit more info. As we've been working for ourselves, click yes to over £1,000 turnover. If you've been paid from a few different businesses over the year, but they've paid you directly, simply select one. Then, write your full name under the Business 1 section. All of these go beyond the scope of this course, as none of them apply, in most cases, to our clients, so we select no to each of these. The second page is another set of simple yes or no questions. You can read through and select if they're relevant to you or not. We didn't have any bank interest, so we select no. We've not got any stocks and shares, so no. Unfortunately, not at retirement age yet. And haven't claimed any benefits over the year, so that's another no. No child benefits. No lump sums. No income tax losses. Or pension savings tax charges. No private pension contributions. No charitable donations. This doesn't apply. Or this. or the rest of these. And no. As we covered in the expenses section, if your income is not over £85,000, you can use simplified expenses. You can scan through this, but 99% of the time, they won't apply to you. So scroll to the bottom, and click, none of these apply. In this part, HMRC is just asking for a brief description of what you do. So I'll type in, self-assessment tax specialist. Also, double check you've entered your name correctly, in the previous section. So if you're a tradesman, or construction site foreman, you'd simply type your trade, and a brief description of your area, such as shop fit-outs, or renovations, etc. Postcode is optional, so we can skip this. Neither of these apply to me, so I can skip this as well. As the tax year ends on the 5th of April, we put that into this section here. And in this example, we're not using the cash basis. So our turnover is our total incomings, which we calculated up in preparation to starting our tax return. And as we're under £85,000, we don't have to do a detailed breakdown, so I'll pick single total value. And that's the sum total of our expenses in our bank statement, and also our allowable expenses, added together. Which gives us our total net profit of £23,518. Now, for our capital allowances, this is explained under our section in Module 5. So, as we covered before, if you purchased an electric vehicle, or a van, specifically for work, this can be entered under your annual investment allowance. Say our new electric van cost $23,200. That can go in here. Or if you've bought a high emissions vehicle, you can enter the percentage of the amount you can claim here. And if you have anything else, it can be entered in the following sections. To keep this video simple, I won't enter any capital expenditure. As you might have noticed already, if you're unsure of anything, you can just click the arrow, and it'll give you a small explanation. These sections are optional, but you can see, if you add any figures to them, your taxable profits figure will update when you do. There's more to this, but generally, it doesn't apply to many of our clients. To put it simply, if you made losses in other areas this year, they can be offset against your self-employed profits. Or, if you happen to have any losses the previous tax year, these can be added here to reduce this year's taxable profit. The tax-deducted section will likely not apply to you, unless you're in the construction industry scheme, or CIS, and the business you've been contracting to has already been paying 20 or 30% tax from every wage before they paid you. If you've been working under CIS, to fill this section in, you'll need to calculate all the deductions from your payslips, or total up the deductions from your monthly or yearly CIS receipts. If you've agreed to be taxed under CIS with a contractor, they have a legal obligation to provide you with CIS receipts at the end of the month and the end of the year. So your total CIS contributions would go here, and they offset automatically against the tax you owe. In this example, I've not been under the scheme, so I'll clear it and move on to the next page. Class 4 NICs are your national insurance contributions. Any income over the yearly national insurance allowance set by HMRC is taxed and goes towards your state pension. It's calculated automatically at the end of your return. Unless any of the checkboxes apply to you, you can simply select none of these apply and move on to the next page. Any other information you think the HMRC would find helpful goes here. This section is optional, but if you've had a big change to your income, or a change in the area of work you do, it can help to write about it here, to save any back and forth with the taxman. Now we've hit the final page for our self-employment. It gives us our inputted figures, and displays it as a total summary. We can check for any errors. Quick scan over, and my income is 31,473. My expenses total 7,955. Which gives me a profit of 23,518 for the year. As I've not added any capital allowances, losses, or balancing charges, then the final profit figure for the year remains the same. 23,518. If I happen to have another trade or profession, I could click here, to add it as another business, and go through the same process as before. If your income from other businesses is less than £1,000 a year, it's safe enough to include it in this calculation, without the need to split it up into another section. I'll save my progress so far, and in the next video, I'll take you through the rest of the self-assessment.